Greetings. It's Sunny Days 305. You already know what it is. And on this rising, I got a message to our young goons, to our young hitters, to our young brothers that's living that street life, that's living that violent life. I want to tell you some things that you could be facing, because some of our youngsters and our older heads, they said that the youngsters had issues with the older heads because we did not tell them what was going on. So I want to say this like straight off the bat. You know, if society and young people that I consider to be intelligent, right? If you have not noticed that a lot of us that used to be doing that stuff on the streets on a high level, a lot of us. And if you know, then you know. If you don't know, then ask your parents. But if you are paying attention and see how some of us that had those big names in the streets, see how we act, how some of us act after we come out of that federal penitentiary or that state penitentiary. We different. You know what I mean? We different than we were when we went in, because we learned some things. We've experienced some things. And I tell you, most people that done a long time in prison, they rather die before they go back in prison again. That's how crazy that shit is in them. And so I remember I tell people, I ain't never been to all those DJJ and the county jail. I never been to all of that stuff. But I tell you what, when me and my brother got to the USP Atlanta, man, one of our homeboys, man, first day gave us a knife and gave us some weed. We ain't know where to stash it at. We ain't know where we gonna need it. We ain't know where to put it at. You know what I mean? And so that was crazy. And so I had explained some of the stuff in my other messages, man. The first morning when we got to the penitentiary, we went into the cafeteria, which they call the chow hall, and we sat at the wrong table with the wrong crew. Innocently, we went over there and sat at a table where the DC guys sit at. They call it the DC car. And man, and them dudes, like first quarter, man, you know, they was ready to take our life. If we didn't move quickly to their commands, they were ready to take our life day one in prison, in the penitentiary. And it wasn't no joke. And so after me and my brother experienced that on day one, man, we, in our mind, we thought we wasn't gonna make it out of there. Because, you know, then you go to them places like that, you know, we from Miami, a lot of us, man, we ain't never seen no real gang stuff. Man, them people on real gang time in there, man, for real. You know what I mean? And they not, you know, they ain't doing too much talking. You know, down here, you know, we talk with our hands and this and that. They ain't doing too much talking. They right in your mouth or they stab you. And it's crazy in there, and they don't care who you are. Like, if you got a big name on the street, I'm telling you, somebody, they trying to see you in there, man. It's possibility that somebody trying to see you in there. And then, like, I met a brother. At that time, he had been in like 20-something years, and he had him a wife in prison, a homosexual wife in prison. You know. And every now and then people be talking and be all in his business, but you know, the man say, hey man, he explained to us, he say, man, y'all need to leave me alone and stay out my business. He said, because I came to prison when I was 16 years old. And I had 5 years coming in, and I killed the police while I was in. So I ain't never had sex with no woman. I wouldn't even want no woman. I don't even know what that looked like. You know, so y'all leave me alone. So this is a message for my youngsters, man, that's out of control, man. They got places for y'all. Just like they had places for us. And then you come in that age, then you got those diabolical homosexual scientists. And they got time to work on you. Cause you still hypersexual even though you ain't had sex yet. So that don't leave you when you go in there now. So now you got to figure those things out. And then when you come in there and you're young, and then if some of us homies, man, don't just step in and just take you under our wing, and not ask you, just take you under our wings, man, it's gonna be a long ride for you. And I ain't saying that you can't make it, but by yourself, I promise you, you won't. Man, you go in there, you think you don't want nobody telling you what to do. You think you don't want your parents telling you what to do. You think you don't want nobody telling you what to do. Well, when you get in there, they're going to tell you everything to do. They're going to tell you when you can use the phone, when you can have a visit, when you can sit down, when you can do a push-up, when you can eat, when you can watch a TV, when you better shut up, when I hit you in the mouth. All of that stuff, man. All of that. And then you got COs in there, man. They trying to see you, man. So these are some of the things that people don't tell you about. When it get rough at night, when you get to thinking about your mama, and you get to thinking about your freedom, and you get to think about the position that you put yourself in for the rest of your life. You know, sometimes you get time to think about those things, and it's not a pretty picture. Now, I cried many nights wishing that I was home. And then God forbid tragedy happen. God forbid your mom pass or your dad pass. You know, you ain't gonna be able to go to the funeral. And they don't care how you act, because they got something for you in prison. I mean, if you think you tough, see, y'all youngsters, you only tough with guns. But when you get in that prison, you ain't gonna get no gun. You might could get you a knife. But it gets real once you get in there. You know, and then a lot of us, we'll act like we handling it. Bro, how can a grown person handle being put in a cage? Nobody they don't tell you about that. You know, and they have a place for you when you cut up. You know what I mean? They didn't tell you that, man. Look here, man. You ain't finna go to prison and float around by yourself. It all depends on where you go. In some places, you talk about that you ain't gonna get in no gangs. It's some places that you better go get with your homies, or you in trouble. Straight up. And it could get like that. And then you might say, nah, I'm to myself. I don't want to get in no trouble. Nah, when you stepped in that penitentiary, you stepped in trouble. And so when it's time for the homies to ride, and they tell you to ride, bruh, you gonna ride. Or they gonna ride on you. Cause guess what? If anything happen to you, they coming. The whole homies coming, 200, 300, 400 of them. See, they don't tell you about that. They don't tell you that all these dudes that talk about they your homies, bro, you not gonna hear from them. The only person that might hear from them is gonna be your girl, and I promise you, the conversation is not gonna be about you. And it's cutthroat in there. And then you gotta make pacts, and you gotta hang with people, man, that you normally wouldn't even hang with on the streets. You gotta take things that you normally wouldn't take from people, man, just to survive in that thing, man. And then when that time started hitting you, man, I remember they say like after 10 years, that's when it gets serious. Because the first 5 years you messing around and you still, got your people you could talk to on the phone and this and that. And after 5 years pass, you find out, you're trying to adjust to the place. And after 10 years pass, man, it gets serious in there, man. And so, like I listened to a brother speak on this same topic, and that's why I'm talking about it, man. Look at the dudes that was doing some of the things that y'all doing when we was on the streets. Look what we doing now. Ain't nobody trying to hold no guns, man. Ain't nobody trying to go to prison, man. Ain't nobody trying to go back in that thing you do. I did 22 years in there. I can't do it. I can't do it. Man. So this is just a message to my youngsters, man. Like, man, y'all wake up, man. There's people out here that love y'all, and I understand. I understand some of these youngsters some of these old heads get with y'all and try to dictate what you should do and how you should do it. I don't do that. I just want my young brothers to know what they facing, man. And it don't have to be like that. And so, since you don't want to listen to your mama, since you don't want to listen to a society, since out here is such a rough place to be, well then they have places for you and me. So this is a message to my hitters, a message to my young homies, part one. Hey, man, it's some more things that I got to tell you, man, that you gonna face when you go in there, man. I got to tell you these things. And I got to make it plain for you, brother. That ain't no place for nobody, man. Myself and the Circle of Brotherhood, we have a reentry program where we go into the prisons and we talk to the people in prison. And we go into the juvenile detention, and we talk to the juvenile in DJJ. And I'll tell you this, family, like, that juvenile detention center is filled with our young brothers. And I seen a few months ago, I seen one of our young brothers in there. He was 12 years old. He probably had the worst charge in there, and he probably weighed like 60 pounds. And he got murder, he got attempted murder, he got possession of a firearm and all of that stuff. And man, it's nothing that this young kid will be able to do, man, if nobody don't protect him. And it's a lot of our juveniles in the juvenile detention center. They got some heinous crimes, man. They in trouble. And so our job is to, hey man, we have to catch our children, man, before they get a little too far gone. So once again, this is a message to my young brothers, my young kings that's in the street, my young hitters, my young misunderstood population of youth. Man, hear your uncle, man. I wish you could feel what I feel while I'm telling you this, man. Prison is not for people, man. Prison is for animals. And if we act like animals, then that's where we should be. But it don't have to be that way, man. Hey, this Sunny Days, 305 Degrees podcast. You already